start again. It's a rich
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today, I kind of want to talk about some of the players that have not been given a lot of game time in recent stretches for the Chicago Bulls and discuss whether or not I believe they deserve a little bit more game time. At the end of the day, we're heading into a really I guess we're kind of already in a grueling schedule for the Chicago Bulls, a really tough schedule, a schedule that in the end has kind of taken its toll on us. And a lot of that could potentially be because of the shorter rotations that we play and maybe some of the players that possibly could get some game time just not getting enough game time on this team. And we're going to be talking about those players in this video. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and who deserves a little bit more game time on this team. Now, this is going to be a video specifically for the Miami Heat as well, just because it's a back-to-back, it's a grueling schedule. We've had 3 back-to-backs, I believe, in the last 2 weeks. The Lakers and the Clippers, the Knicks and the Pacers, and now the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat coming up soon. So it's a very tough schedule for the Bulls and what we're going through right now. And I think we've seen the energy and the tiredness of this team kind of catch up with it at times, and we haven't really gotten enough of that break. So with that being said, maybe rotation of the team, extending minutes to some of the role players that don't usually get those minutes could be a very valuable asset down the line for the Chicago Bulls, and it's something that we do need to look at on occasion, and this is going to be a video specifically talking about that. The first player I really want to talk about is someone that's been impressing in garbage time minutes. Granted that there's not a lot of garbage time minutes out there for the Chicago Bulls, but he has impressed in limited minutes out in the West. He has impressed in limited minutes against the Orlando Magic, and his name is Troy Brown Jr. Troy Brown Jr. has been making a lot of shots in garbage time minutes, and arguably every single player that comes on in relation to garbage time minutes, Troy Brown Jr. is usually the best one of the bunch. He's someone that I think many people were big fans of heading into last year's season. Obviously, training for him was really big for the Chicago Bulls. And right now, he's kind of on that situation where he probably is good enough to get some game time for this team. But just looking at the players ahead of him, it is a bit difficult to see him getting a lot of minutes. But when you do see a player like Derrick Jones Jr. that did get fouled out against the Orlando Magic in 10 minutes, I think there is a possibility there and an opportunity there that just wasn't taken in relation to Billy Donovan putting Troy Brown Jr. in the game a little bit earlier. But nevertheless, he got his garbage time minutes, and I think for garbage time minutes for the majority of the season, when Troy Brown Jr. is there, he is the one that's standing out and impressing. It's all about taking your opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, when they're put in front of you. Some players that have been in garbage time minutes has not stepped up to the caliber of what they should be, or just hasn't simply gotten enough of an opportunity. So when you do have those limited opportunities to get yourself known, to show what you can do on the team, you got to take those. So Troy Brown Jr. is someone that I think has impressed for the team and should probably get a little bit more game time than what he does, but also you can understand why he doesn't get a lot of game time. Moving into another player that I really want to see get more game time. His name is Lizzy Johnson. Lizzy Johnson is playing at the center position for the Chicago Bulls. We are often known as a small ball team, especially coming off of the bench. We pride ourselves on a 4-guard system, 3-guard system, and just having a little bit of small ball mentality on the team, which I can definitely understand. And I do think in terms of when we need to play bigger, Lizzy Johnson has to be an option as a power forward. He's been a power forward his whole career, and for whatever reason on this team, he's never really been given an opportunity to play at the power forward position. At the end of the day, to be fair, he's not capitalized on a lot of opportunities in garbage time minutes or in minutes where other players are in foul trouble. He's not capitalized, and you have to give full credit or full respect or full understanding of the situation when it comes to Lizzy Johnson, when he's having a good stretch of form or a bad stretch of form. But again, he's another player that, in my opinion, if we need a little bit of size in the team, he should be starting for this team. He's 6'8", he's a power forward, and he's a really good rebounder. Does he affect the spacing issues a little bit? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, sometimes you've got to make sacrifices on the team for the benefit of other areas. And size issues is a big one that we have. If he's playing with the power forward position, you could help Vucevic out a lot more in the paint. You can get rebounds. You can go out and run in transition because he has that capability as well with his size. He's definitely someone to look into, and considering him getting a little bit more minutes on this team, and he's someone that I'm a big fan of. I've said it from the very beginning when I thought we were going to get him. Until now, I'm still a big fan of Lizzy Johnson, and I definitely think he deserves a little bit more time to show what he can do on this Chicago Bulls team. Someone else, I think this is going to be a little bit of an underrated one because many people will be saying he gets decent minutes, but I actually think he deserves a little bit more. His name is Ayo Dosunmu, ladies and gentlemen. The beginning of the season, very limited minutes he was getting, but again, he's earned his trust and he's earned his playing spot for the Chicago Bulls within this system, within these games, and he's showing why with energy, defensive awareness. He's making good shots at times, not consistently, but more often he is making shots than he is bricking those shots. And also, he's a player that is very fearless. He's not afraid of the moment. He's going to bring everything that he has to the table, no matter who's guarding him or who he's guarding. He's that type of player. He has that type of mentality, and I think there's more of that needs to go around for this team. And he's a good example of someone that I believe should be getting a little bit more game time. The last game, he got a lot of game time, but it was more garbage time minutes than anything. I think obviously the implementing Coby White into the team is giving Ayo a little bit of limited minutes. But I've said before, I really hope and I think these two can play together. I've said it throughout the whole time, and at times they do play together. They play together against the Orlando Magic, and they will continue to play together. And I just think that those two can have really strong chemistry. Obviously, Coby White as a great shooter. Ayo Dosunmu is a player that could definitely get out on the break and get some easy opportunities there. He can also make an open shot as well. These two can work very, very well together if given enough opportunity. And I think Ayo deserves a little bit more minutes to try and gel with the team and bring that energy that I think we sorely miss at times. And the last player that I'm going to talk about is Tony Bradley. Again, depending on the team that we're facing, sometimes small ball is not always the answer. And with that being said, to only see Tony Bradley play 3 minutes in the game against the Orlando Magic is something that I'm very surprised with, considering he was a starter for the Chicago Bulls out in that West Coast trip. To see him pretty much back in not really getting a lot of game time, pretty surprising in my opinion. He's not someone that I think's done terribly badly for the team in the starting lineup. Obviously, he's not the best, but he definitely wasn't really terrible whatsoever as well. So I expected him to get a little bit more bench game time. Again, defensively, I think he's solid. I think he can get a couple of rebounds. He can switch on to guards a little bit as well. He has that capability, but for whatever reason, we are continuing to push into the small ball category. Now, just think for some teams, for example, we saw it against the Utah Jazz that game. We played Tony Bradley because they had a player like Hassan Whiteside off of their bench, and we had Tony Bradley off of ours. And I definitely think we took advantage of a size issue there. So hopefully we can continue to see that come into fruition, where if they have massive size over the Chicago Bulls again, if we had Nikola Vucevic against Indiana, I sincerely hope we would have pulled Tony Bradley off of the bench instead of putting a small ball lineup, because the small ball really cost us in that game. And it could be the same against any other team in the NBA. So I hope that we continue to see Tony Bradley get a little bit more minutes and also play when we definitely need to go a little bit bigger in size. It's all about versatility, and it's all about adapting to your opponents as well. We have a very unique way of playing, and I can understand why small ball is the best option for the Chicago Bulls. However, we do have other areas where we are very valuable at. And if we continue to see ball movement, we continue to see player movement on the team, you have a really special center in Nikola Vucevic that can make shots and pass the ball. You have a really good center in Tony Bradley that's willing to run the floor and can do that effectively for the Chicago Bulls. So these are all the players that I believe should get a little bit more minutes on this team, and definitely one where I hope they get some minutes against the Miami Heat. I don't think all of them will get minutes, and I can understand that. I don't think Lizzy Johnson will get a lot of minutes, to be honest, against the Miami Heat. I don't even know Tony Bradley will get a lot of minutes against the Miami Heat. But we are thin in terms of the lineups that we're playing, especially in the power forward and center positions. So I'd like to see some of those players just push in and try to get some minutes and make a name for themselves and claim a spot on this team. The best part about it is that when these players have to play, they must take their opportunity. That's the best part, because if they take that opportunity, they perform well in limited minutes, then the coach will start to trust them in certain positions. The coach will start to trust them and getting them into the rotation a little bit more. Even if it is for sporadic minutes, at least it's minutes nonetheless. So I can't wait to see if any of these things will come true. I'm sure depending on the lineup that the Heat throw at us, again, the Heat are a team that's very unique as well. Bam Adebayo is one of the best centers in the NBA. Jimmy Butler's been fantastic. Kyle Lowry's been strong as well. They're a team that can struggle to small ball, and they also are a team that capitalize on bigger players. So maybe small ball does fit what we're trying to do against the Miami Heat, but also you got to be aware that we could potentially have a size advantage if we play the right players on this team. So it's all up to the Chicago Bulls, and we'll have to wait and see what approach they go with. But these are just some of the players that I think in the future should get a little bit more game time on this team for certain reasons or another. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. Hopefully you're all doing well, and I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. I'll see you against Miami. Take care and peace.